Okay, whoever's humming, you're on, so.
I stopped.
Okay, we are live streaming, so welcome to the Harford County Delegation meeting here on February the 16th. We do have some visitors this morning. It's kind of refreshing that our whole meeting is not going to be about alcohol bills. So anyway, I will give you a brief update on those and what's happening over on the Senate side. But we're going to open up with a word of prayer. Can we, Delegate McComas, would you give us the honor?
Dear Lord, this is a great day. We're going to try to serve the citizens of Harford County and the state of Maryland. And we hope we have a successful meeting and that that all of the members can get over to the House floor and join me. Amen.
Amen. And Delegate Griffith, could you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both very much. And here under my welcome remarks, we normally have Genevieve Foley here representing the county administration. So in her place today, we have Mr. Joe Cluster. So welcome, Joe. Oh, and there's Steve. Okay. We have old business. I just need our vice chair to make the motion to approve both sets of minutes at the same time, if that's okay.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve both sets of minutes that are on the agenda for today.
Okay, that was first, and I need a second. Okay,
S. Johnson.
Okay, S. Johnson, second. Any discussion? Seeing none, just everybody by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, the minutes have been approved. Okay, thank you. We now have HB 120, which is the Harford County Due Process Proceedings for Children with Disabilities Burden of Proof. And that was a bill that Delegate Griffith had put in and had already has a hearing. And I believe at this point, he is looking for Harford County support and a letter to send to the committee on that. Delegate Griffith, would you like to say a few remarks before someone makes a motion to do that?
Absolutely, just very
Recap.
briefly. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Very, very briefly. So the Howard County version of this bill passed out of their delegation unanimously with bipartisan support. The Baltimore City and Baltimore County versions are expected to have unanimous support in their delegation meetings tomorrow. And I'm also the #2 sponsor on the statewide version of this bill. So all these bills are hoping to move in tandem. I'm hoping we're not the outlier of the rest of the delegations on this issue. There was one small amendment. There were in the original bill, it excluded certain circumstances that the burden of proof would be shifted. All the disability rights advocates wanted that amendment to broaden and make sure that all issues related to burden of proof would transfer to the school, and I added that amendment. The statewide version has support from the Attorney General's office. Virtually every single disabilities advocacy organization in the state. And I would like to move that we vote on the bill.
Okay, I would first have to, any further discussion before I move on how we have to do that? Okay, so seeing no discussion. First, we would need amendment. We would need a motion to approve the change. At this point, I believe since the bill has been dropped, it is an amendment. So we need a motion to adopt the amendment.
Move to adopt the amendment.
Second.
Okay, so I have first and I have a second. Okay, any further discussion on the amendment?
And just one point in the amendment. the same amendment was added to the Howard County version, Baltimore County version, Baltimore City version, and the statewide version. So it just puts this bill in alignment with all the partner bills.
Okay, thank you. Good point. Okay, so now we have a first and a second. So Cindy, if you would take the count, the vote.
Delegate McComas,
Aye.
Delegate Arikan,
Yes.
Delegate Griffith,
Yes.
Delegate A. Johnson,
No.
Delegate S. Johnson,
No.
Delegate Riley.
Yes.
The count is 4-2.
So motion
passed.
passes. Okay. All right. Thank you. So that was on the amendment. So now we need to have an amendment. Have a motion to approve the bill as amended for support from the Harford County delegation.
I'd move to have the bill vote on us for support on the bill. Thank you.
As amended.
Second.
As amended.
Okay. And we have a second. Is there Delegate Arkin? Any further discussions? Seeing none, Sydney, take the voice. The count.
Delegate McComas,
Aye.
Delegate Arikan,
Yes.
Delegate Griffith,
Yes.
Delegate A. Johnson,
Yes.
Delegate S. Johnson,
No.
Delegate Riley.
Yes.
That is 5-1. The motion passes.
Okay, so the motion passes to get a letter of support from the Harford County delegation. So thank you. That's all that you want to do at this time, Delegate Griffith, on this bill?
That is correct. Thank you.
Okay.
And I
All right.
just want to say thank you very much for everyone's support. I appreciate it. And it's been a painstaking process and I'm grateful.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, moving on to the new business. We have, I'm going to just briefly go over a discussion of the liquor bills in reference to what's happening over in the Senate side with them giving us support for our liquor bills before we go to the hearing. And again, as a reminder, we are two houses, House and Senate. And so we need two of the senators for ours to continue to go forward. And that's just the way that it works. So at this point, they're having their votes. There's a couple of them that they have not come to a full conclusion yet. So right now, I'll just kind of give you an update. The plumbing bill, okay, that one has passed the House or the House delegation, and it has also passed the Senate delegation. So that one will go forward with their support. We have, let's see, HB 1058, which is the Class B HTF. The House voted that one up, but the Senate has already voted that one down. So that one will not be getting their support. So the question is I believe at this point, we would have to withdraw that from the House hearing because we do not have Senate support.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just what is 1058? I don't have my list.
1058 is the Class B HTF, which is the axe throwing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We have HB 1059. That one the House supported and the Senate also will be supporting. So they will send us a letter of support on that one. And that one was the alcohol beverages performing arts theater license for the nonprofits. Another one, which was originally generated from Delegate Steve Johnson, was HB 670, the stadium license annual fee. The House moved to support that one. However, the Senate at this point will not be supporting that bill. So we will not be getting a letter of support for that. We have two more. We have HB 1062, which was originally generated by Delegate Griffith. House approved that one to go forward. The Senate is still under consideration for that one at this moment. My understanding is that they should come to a final decision on the remaining ones by 2:00 today. So we will keep you informed. We also have HB 1063, which is the health club. The House had supported that bill to go forward. And the Senate at this point is, that's the other bill that they're still under consideration. So there's where we stand as far as the liquor bills and the Harford County delegation plumbing bill. Any questions, you can talk to me offline or talk to any of those businesses that you feel, are in jeopardy of losing their hearing on Monday, basically. Okay, so again, just to clarify, if I don't have two of the senators voting on these bills, then we will not, as a delegation, be having a hearing and introducing those bills in ECM on Monday. So we will keep you posted on that. So thank you very much for all of your hard work, the delegation. And if any of those businesses are out there listening, we took, painstaking 5 weeks to discuss these bills. And so thank you very much for your support on that and working with us. Okay, so now we're going to move on, new business to, any questions on that? The liquor bills or the plumbing? Okay, see none. We're going to continue to move. We have some guests today from Broad Creek Memorial Scout Reservation. We have Jeff Lewis, which is the Director of Development at Boy Scouts of America. And we have Sherry Nickerson, which is their Government Affairs Director of O-Line Government Affairs, LLC. So I believe all of you received that in your packet. They are looking for a letter of support for monies for Broad Creek, and that will be addressed in, I believe, the capital budget. I know over the years, Senator District 35, basically, the senator and the delegates, myself and Delegate Griffith, have supported them with bond bills. And we've been very successful with that in the past. And they were very wonderful to work with. We've taken many site visits. The place, if you haven't had a chance to go over there, you should do that during the interim. I'm sure they would love to show you around and show you the progress they have already made and what they want to do in the future. So we do have a fan, higher than us that love the Boy Scouts. So we're working, they're working behind the scenes to hopefully get this in the budget. And we're looking for, I know District 35, we're looking for a letter of support from the delegation to support those monies in the budget. So we're going to let them present, and you have the letter. And then at the end, we will actually take the vote, whether you want to sign on to the letter of support or not. So I'm not sure, Jeff or Sherry, I'm not sure which one is going first. So.
Good morning, Chairman Riley and members of the Harford delegation. I am not going to take up much of your time because, as I understand, Jeff has put together a brief presentation to talk about what has been funded already and what this funding we're asking for will go into. So with that, I'll just hand it over to Jeff.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
And thank you, Chairman Riley, for having us here this morning. As Sherry said, as Delegate Riley said as well, this group has been very supportive, especially District 35 in the past, to the tune of about $700,000, a little over $700,000 over the last several years. And we put that money to work, primarily in infrastructure work at Broad Creek. And I would like to, Cindy, do I have the ability to share my screen?
Possibly.
Okay, we'll try. Disabled.
Charity, can you assist her in with this? And there you go.
You tried.
I'm sorry, I don't have any controls over the Zoom.
Cindy, if it helps any, I can share his presentation with you really fast if you have.
That would be good.
Okay, I'm doing it right this second.
Sorry for the technical difficulties here.
No problem. I just sent it.
for the sake of time, Delegate Riley, while we're getting that loaded up, I can mention a couple other pieces that I was going to share at the end of the presentation. But first of which is a thank you to those on this call who have come up to Broad Creek in the past. This past summer, we hosted Delegates Riley, Griffith, and Senator Gallion. Got to show you some of the work we've been doing up there. Thank you for coming out and seeing the property and being such advocates. I would invite the others on this call, if you can make the time this summer, we'd love to bring you up to Broad Creek. It's a beautiful facility, show you the work we're doing, show you what we've done so far, and also show how we can be a resource to the community. We're not just for the Boy Scouts. We're 1,700 acres of wooded property in Harford County, and we would love to be a resource for whether it's hosting an event or helping another cause. We definitely invite you up. Also, a thank you to often delegates and senators get invitations to come to an Eagle Scout Court of Honor or other scouting event. That means so much for these young people when their elected officials come out and support them in their cause. So thank you for those of you who make that a priority. It really is special. And the other piece I have is on March 1st. You should have already received an invitation, but on March 1st, we're hosting a breakfast at the Maryland Inn from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. It's not a come for the entire thing. It's come as your schedule allows. Stop in. We'll have some of our board members and some of our staff sharing specifics about what we're doing at camp and how you can help, and also be on call to answer any questions.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lewis, can you mention that date and time again?
March 1st
March 1st.
from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Maryland Inn, right on the circle.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Is it at the Calvert House or is it actually at the Maryland Inn? Because a lot of times they say they're all kind of linked together, and it's really important we know which location, because there's the Johnson place. There's also the Calvert House as well as the Maryland Inn. And so they're the historic hotels of Annapolis. So just if you could just kind of confirm exactly which location, that would be
Delegate
helpful.
McComas, this is at the Maryland Inn. It's in the Crown and Cross room.
Crown and Crab room.
Crown and Crab room at the Maryland Inn. I know how confusing that can get.
Yeah.
And to reiterate how confusing that can be, we actually sent the wrong name on our initial invitation. We said the historic Inns of Annapolis, which could be 3 different places. So thank you for asking for the clarity there. It's important.
I know how confusing that can get.
Well, while we're waiting, can I ask a quick question? Do you have Boy Scouts from all over the state that come up to Broad Creek?
Beyond that, yeah. So our organization, the Baltimore Area Council, supports scouting in Central Maryland, so Baltimore City, the 5 surrounding counties. But our camp draws visitors from not just the state of Maryland, but from many states away: Virginia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, several states across the country.
Well, always trying to skin the cat as far as economics. Do we get any help from these other states for Broad Creek since they use it, or do they pay? Or in other words, I don't want Maryland carrying the full load for other states.
Sure. So anyone who uses the property, any scouts or other community members, it's not just a facility for scouts, but anyone that uses it has a facility use fee essentially, and that can vary depending on how they're using it. If we have a climbing tower, we have archery ranges, we have lots of different things that are kind of add-ons. So there's a flat rate for camping. If they want to use a cabin, there's an extended rate for that. And then again, the add-ons. Hey.
Thank you, Delegate Hornberger, to the rescue.
So, Jeff, I'm actually the one sharing this.
Okay.
Just tell me when to go forward and I'll run the controls here. Thank you, Delegate Hornberger.
Perfect.
If I may indulge, as an Eagle Scout who spent a lot of time at Broad Creek, I would ask for a favorable report on this request.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, don't think my beautiful animations are going to work because as the way we're going to view this, but at least we can see it. And I appreciate your all's patience while we're going through this.
Oh, we thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Sure. No, thanks for having me. Here we go.
For some reason, I can't. Here we go. There we go.
Sherry, we're seeing the back end side. We need to see the presentation side.
It's not letting.
That's okay. We'll just view the slides as in the regular setting. Just want to go back to where we, yeah.
Right there.
Okay. Go ahead and move on to what's now slide 3, Sherry. Okay, so a brief history of Broad Creek Memorial Scout Reservation, built in 1948. It actually encompasses 3 separate camps, over 1,700 acres. Of those 3 camps, we're primarily focusing on Camp Saffron, which is really our main camp. Rather than try to invest in 3 separate areas, we're focusing all our energy into bringing like our crown jewel camp up to speed. So I mentioned 1,700 acres. Of those acres, 800 of them are federally or locally protected. And our property is the largest privately owned undeveloped property in Harford County. And we're really proud that we're able to keep so much green space protected for future generations in Harford County. We attract over 28,000 visitors annually. And as I mentioned prior to the slide deck, many of those are scouts, but we host outside groups as well. We have lots of partnerships with groups around the community. The Harford County Sheriff's Office, actually their firearms range is on our camp. It's on a section of our property. They lease it from us. And so we have a great relationship with the Sheriff's Office. Actually, I was up at camp on Monday and they had 32 cadets who were doing training on site right there in our property. They use our buildings for training for breaches and traffic stops and various things. So it's a great relationship. We also have a strong relationship with the Mason-Dixon Rescue Dogs. It's a search and rescue club that uses our property to train their canine units. Move to the next slide, please. I had a great animation here, but that's okay. We're going to just look at the map. Essentially, we launched a Diamond Anniversary Capital campaign. So the camp's 75 years old, and up until a couple of years ago, the infrastructure sure showed that it was 75 years old. The water was not reliable. The sewer lines were old. So with the help of many on this call, I mentioned the $700,000 we've received over the last several years. We've replaced all the utility lines. So it's all new water lines, electric, sewer, and fiber optic cable through a partnership with the county and KCI Technologies. So when scout leaders or parents come to camp for the week, they can work remotely. They don't have to take the time off. So it's been a great resource to draw more people to the facility. Let's move on to the next slide. Kind of give you an idea of what we've done over the last few years. I mentioned a climbing tower. We constructed that in 2017. We rebuilt one of our lodges, did some additions to our welcome center, converted all the buildings to LED, which is a great power savings, great for the environment. I mentioned the new utilities at our Camp Saffron. We renovated the pool and the wireless internet. So I want to focus on these last 4 though. These are the last pieces we need to make our camp just a really state-of-the-art facility for the community to use. We're seeking some funding elsewhere for the completion of our wastewater treatment facility. And this has been a journey. This has been over a decade. We've been working on this. We're finally at the point where we are shovel ready as soon as we have the funding. I mentioned it'll be secured shortly. We feel very strongly about that. This is the domino that's got to happen before we can do anything else. And it's so great that it's now in motion. It's about a $2 million facility. And it's strange, we haven't been able to find any donor who wants to put their name on a wastewater treatment facility, but we feel good that the funding sources we're looking at now are going to come through. But what we're asking your help for today are these last three: comfort stations, leadership development center / dining hall, and an ecology and conservation lodge. And just a brief description of those. Move to the next slide, please. So on the left, the top left, that is what we refer to as a comfort station. It's essentially a 12 to 14 room facility. Each room has single door access. There is a toilet, there's a sink, and there's a shower facility in each one of these rooms. So whether, regardless of gender or age, youth, adult, when you walk in that facility, it's your facility. And that's really become the industry standard for camping in the 21st century. Not just moms and dads, but kids don't want to use the big open showers and the multi-stall restroom facilities. This really is essential for us. We're going to build 3 of these comfort stations around the camp. Each one costs about $250,000, and currently we're halfway funded. So the total bill on that $750,000. We're requesting $375,000 from the capital budget to complete those. Second of these projects is the 400-person dining facility. That's about a $3 million project, and we've secured 2/3 of that money already. So we're requesting the final $1 million to complete that facility. This will also house our health lodge, and it'll act as an emergency shelter in the case of inclement weather.
Excuse me, Jeff, Delegate McComas,
That's okay.
Delegate McComas,
Oh, yes.
can you please mute yourself? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
All right, I'm almost done.
Continue.
The final piece we're asking for funding for today is an ecology and conservation center. That's about a $675,000 project all in, of which we've secured $325,000 to date. So we're requesting the final $350,000 for this. It's primarily an education center. It will have sleeping facilities as well, but this project is really to educate our youth about the importance of the environment and conserving it and how to live in harmony with nature. Move on to the final slide. Really, that's just an ending slide. So Sherry, you can stop the presentation. And at this point, I'd like to open it up for any questions about the funding we're seeking, Boy Scouts in general, or the Baltimore Area Council.
Okay, do we have any questions from the delegation? Okay, I see Delegate McComas has a question, and now you can unmute. We cannot hear
I had a
you.
very important visitor. He's
There
a
you go.
four-legged visitor, and we sort of have a relationship going. Anyway, my question is, can you get some
Yeah.
corporate people to come and have some retreats there that, you know, could maybe pay some serious bucks to help the cause?
Absolutely, and we've already secured about $5.4 million of funding for the entire project. So we have done really well with fundraising, but at this point we know our limitations. We're asking for help, and we have some great corporate partners, and we would gladly host corporate retreats, especially once we get this dining facility done. It could be a conference center. We would encourage executive leadership groups to come and use our confidence course, which is like a high ropes course, to really help with growing their team, doing teamwork things together. So yes, we have explored many options on that. And as I mentioned in the beginning, we want to be a resource for the community. 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, that camp sits pretty empty, except in the summertime. And the weekends were full. But if we could engage the rest of the community, whether it's corporate, school groups, church groups, other youth groups, we would gladly encourage that.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Mr. Lewis and Ms. Nickerson, for coming in. We appreciate it. Thank you for your patience on the technical difficulty, and we certainly will thank Delegate Hornberger again. This was actually a first, I think, for Cindy, so she's never actually shared any kind of document. So now she has her little review. So maybe in the future, if we ever need to do that, she get it up. But anyway, thank you for your patience. Thank you for coming today. And now we're going to move on. If someone would like to make that motion to send a letter of support for this great worthy cause, for the funds for this the Boy Scout camp to go into the budget. I
Make a
welcome
motion,
that.
to send a letter of support.
Okay, so we have Delegate Steve Johnson made the motion. We have Delegate Arcan second. Any conversation, discussion? Seeing none, if Cindy, if you would go ahead and take the vote for us.
Delegate McComas,
Yes.
Delegate Erican,
Yes.
Delegate Griffith,
Yes.
Delegate A. Johnson,
Yes.
Delegate S. Johnson,
Yes.
Delegate Riley.
Yes.
That's 6-0. The motion passes.
Okay, so the motion passes, so we will be sending that letter forward. Good luck to you, and whatever we can
Thanks
do
so
to
much.
continue to help, let us know and we'll watch it carefully. I know we have actually Delegate McComas is in approach, so she can keep us up to date of what's going on and the progress on that. So thank you again for the presentation and for your patience.
Thank you for your support.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Now we actually had on the schedule the Maryland Municipal League, but they did have to cancel. I guess they couldn't fit that in with their knowing that they had their breakfast and all that this morning. They would like to reschedule for next week. So my plan at this point is to hopefully make that our last delegation meeting for the session. Once the liquor bills are done and our other delegation bills, I don't see any more of those coming. And so hopefully cross your fingers. Okay, thank you all for coming, and do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week.